ready to chug some beers and make some bad gambling picks. Welcome to ChuggieBets.
So, like I was saying, he was like, look, just swallow it. And so, that's what I did. So, it's just what it is. On the news, Denny, you broke your ankle, right?
Yeah, I didn't realize we were starting on you swallowing and me breaking my ankle. But I an elite athlete as myself, 300 and whatever pounds, and you keep yourself in tip-top shape to play some beer league softball. Every once in a while, you just get in a rundown with Allen Iverson, and he breaks your ankles.
I wish it was actual Allen Iverson. You were trying to chase him down. Like, you'd never catch Allen Iverson. He could be 80
It was just some
years
dude who
old.
took softball too seriously. Like, I was the catcher. I caught the ball. Just run back to third, man. I don't want to do this. I don't want to chase you down. I'm
are
out
you
there
in
to
one of
hit
those-
singles, maybe a double every once in a while, and then get a sub runner in. That's why I play catcher.
Like, I honestly, at this point in our lives, this isn't like intramurals in high school and shit. Unless it's like a pickup game of basketball, I'm not playing my ass off. I'm out there to enjoy shit. Like, if it's wiffle ball, I'm not being ultra competitive.
The thing about beer league softball is like 95% of the people have the same attitude as you. I'm one of them. My whole team is one of them. I'm one of the younger guys on my team. There's like one guy younger than me. But there's teams out there that are like trying to make it up to the next level of beer league softball, which, come on. But yeah, some people are out there trying to make it to the next level of beer league softball. And this dude's one of them. And he was just like, I'm going to run no matter what. So, they threw it home. We caught him. I tried to do the rundown. Matt, you know the rules.
Yeah.
I run him back, wait for the guy to say now, throw it to him. He never said now. I threw it to him at the last second. Tried to cut out of the line because the guy turned to come at me. The right thing to do, you cut out of the line. There's this like huge uneven part between the grass and the dirt, and I wasn't counting for that. And now my ankle's broken because I weigh 300 pounds and shouldn't be playing beer league softball.
Couple questions for you. One, do you always have a pinch runner when you get on base?
No, there's another guy who's actually fatter and more out of shape than me, and he's like 65, and he usually gets the pinch runner, but he hits before me and almost never gets on base. I could rake, so I'm always on base. I'll hit like a 300-foot single.
I love a 300-foot single. A seeing eye single. Secondly, did you get the out?
No, it was a bad throw. I actually threw it into the dirt, and the third baseman missed it because I didn't know what to do because I was trying to throw it low so we could tag him, and I threw it to the left side of the base instead of the right where his glove was, and it was my fault. But honestly, I could have hit him in the chest if he would have just said now and ran at me the way he was supposed to like a while before. But not everybody practiced high school baseball with Coach Schott.
Third question, and this is most important: is your softball team one of those teams that like brings a speaker and plays music loud enough that's profane?
No. Most of the time we have a guy or two in the dugout who has it's on Monday nights, right? So we have the football game playing or whatever other basketball game is on at the time. We're a very laid back team. We do not promote ourselves. It's the Censormatic team that I joined because my kid's friends with another kid's dad and he invited me.
Got it. These are very important questions because Liam plays Little League on Monday nights as well, and softball is always after his practice. And my God, the music they play, I'm like, there are children here. I'm like, I enjoy it, but Lord, there are children here. You guys are playing some of that.
No, there's like girls softball going on, like young girls softball going on at the same time. It's no, there's no music.
Do you guys think
it's fun?
Weird?
It's a really fun league to be a part of, though. I love it.
Do you guys ever think it's weird that softball is the only sport that after a certain age you change genders to play? Right? Like no one, like it's the only one. Softball is predominantly women, but once you're like 35, it's like, all right, let's just play this game. We're not playing baseball anymore.
Do you know how hard it is to find 40-year-old dudes that can throw strikes, Matt?
No, I know. It's got to be because you're going to get hit all the time. Those people are getting blasted.
Forget about getting hit by a 60-mile-an-hour, ephus. I'm not worried about that. It's just that like softball, you can throw strikes really easy. That's why men play softball.
Okay, I was curious why this was. Natalie and I were having this conversation the other day. She's like, I hate that. She's like, women don't even get softball. Like, is there like women's baseball as they get older? It's very odd. Like,
so it's weird when like men who are really good play softball, right? When you're like at my level, we're like, yeah, we were good when we were, 17 and 18, but
Yeah.
like I'm not good at it anymore.
No,
But
that's the right time to play softball.
It's got to be because the ball gets bigger. It's easier to see, not necessarily the strike zone, but because if it wasn't that, then they would just underhand pitch a baseball. Softball's
No,
lighter,
the
travel
bigger
further
ball's
distance.
easier because the way softball strikes work is you have to not go above 6 feet, not go above 12, or not go below 6 feet, not go above 12 feet, and then it has to land on this like extended large plate mat.
I mean,
It's exciting stuff.
So the bigger the
Yeah.
ball, the easier it is to get it to land on the mat. Plus, it's easier to hit. It doesn't really go as far. The wind makes these balls go crazy when you're in the outfield.
It doesn't
Tell me
travel
more about
as
these
fast
balls.
either. Tell us about your balls.
They're huge and yellow.
Oh man, call me
Whoa.
intrigued. I may play softball next year. My name is Matt. I've got Sunshine to the left of me. I got Danny way over. This is a football podcast today. We are talking
Softball podcast today.
softball. We started off with the softball questions. Now we're getting the hard football questions. We're going to talk some college. We're going to talk pro. We're going to give you guaranteed winners at the end, so stay around for it. But there is a lot of shit to cover today.
Al and Andy's picks are still here, even though they are not.
Mm-hmm. That's the most important thing, so we can get you rich going into the playoffs. But before we do any of that, let's drink beer.
Cheers.
Beer tastes so good. I love watching Denver come back here too. Not that I have any money on the line.
All right, so last week, let's recap last week. Last week we went 15 and 13. Impressively enough, 4 of us won our Chuggy Bets. 3 of us here won our Chuggy Bets. Andy as well. I did not have a great week. I was 1 game under. Chris and Andy were at 500. Danny was 1 game over. Al was 2 games over. That puts us on the year at winning 57.7% of all of our games. We made, good Lord, that's a lot of bets, 502 bets and won 291 of those for 57%.
Dude. If we just tailed Al and Andy, I was 1 game over 500, so I was part of the good, not part of the problem this year. But just tailing Al and Andy, you'd be rich. They're 60%. They were hitting at 60%. Matt,
I won
not a shabby 58.
No, I won 58%. That's like beach house money. 60% is like multi-generational wealth money if you've invested correctly. That's
Al wins the year though because he had the most picks and the highest percentage.
Yep. So in the NFL regular season, Al gets the gold medal. He'll be able to give a Chuggy Bet tonight. Andy gets the silver medal. He can give him a Chuggy Bet as well. And I came in bronze. It was a hell of a season. We had a great time. I hope you guys made some money. The shit kicked ass. Now,
I made some money. I tailed Al after like week 2. He was so hot. I was just telling his picks
all year long. We did good. At college, we did really well too. College is
I was definitely part of the good in college. I was more than 1 game over 500.
Sonny, did you have something?
Al threw out that parlay on the text thread the other day, and I followed him, and it was like the odds were like plus 1100, and only one of them didn't hit, but it was like a 6 or 7 team parlay.
So just a piece of advice: every time Al sends out one of those 7-leg parlays, bet them all individually. You will end up profitable. Hit the parlay, you will not.
You hit the parlay, you'll be very profitable.
Yeah, but he is always like, oh, I got this 7-teamer, this like plus 10,000 or 1,000, and 10 to 1 on a 7-teamer, sure, and they're usually mostly favorites. But like if you just bet them all individually for 1 unit, you always end up profitable because he's hitting like 6 of 7 or 7 of 8 every time, and he always misses 1 on some bullshit ref call or something.
It was the Browns.
It really was like that.
It was the
Browns this time.
Yeah,
oh man,
it was the Browns. And to be fair, the Browns didn't try. They tried. They did not try at an MVP level. Like they had no one fucking playing last week, and it's for the best because they got a big game this week.
Didn't they even bench Flacco?
They benched everybody. Who was the quarterback the other day? It was the kid who used to play at Florida, Kyle Trask.
Trask, okay, yeah. That'll send. I mean, if they bench their defense and Kyle Trask is playing quarterback, then they got fucking nothing there.
Kyle Trask. I
Swear
thought
jar.
Kyle Trask was in Tampa.
Oh, it was shit. Will you look it up while I start introducing who is the
I
Cleveland
will.
Browns quarterback?
Yeah.
Let's handle some college football, and we'll make it quick. There is 2 stories we want to talk about. Let's talk about the national championship game. Michigan, congratulations to Jim Harbaugh. He did it. He won a national championship, and he really proved this fact the most importantly true. Cheating really does pay off. Don't listen to anyone who says cheaters never prosper.
Jeff
because
Driscoll.
Jeff
Yeah,
Driscoll.
I was going to say
Sorry,
that,
different
yeah.
Florida guy. Yeah. Don't listen to anyone who says cheating doesn't pay off because Jim Harbaugh just won a national
Championship. Yeah, he's gonna
It
get
is-
paid either by Michigan or an NFL team.
It has never been better to be a cheater. And guys, I have a really important question to ask you on this. Does Connor Stallions somehow get a national championship ring? Like maybe one of those situations. I don't think Michigan's AD would buy him a national championship ring, but maybe they buy one extra and somehow it ends up in his door.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. Absolutely. And he deserves one.
He's the MVP.
Nobody deserves a ring more at Michigan than Connor Stallion.
He
Also,
really does.
the dude deserves a statue out front of the freaking big house. The real big house, not the one we normally talk about that's in every other city. But
The actual
in our
big house,
brain.
the Michigan big house.
Yeah.
I don't know what your thoughts on the game were, Chris. But I guess I wasn't surprised. I picked Michigan, so I don't know if you have any thoughts on the game.
I thought it was a really good game. I really did hope the score would be closer, but I think Michigan's defense really showed up and showed out. I was watching with like my 2 like neighborhood besties, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of them went to Michigan, and one of them went to Ole Miss, and the entire end of the season, the Ole Miss guy has been like secretly fading the Michigan guy, right? So like we'll be watching all 3 of us the game. I'll get a text message from him, and he was like, "Bama +10 right now, guarantee it."
Was he profitable? Because it doesn't seem like he won.
No. But like he didn't we watched at a bar and he wore purple Nikes to the bar. Like he didn't fucking quit.
Yeah,
I thought he was
First off,
doing it because he
owning
was
purple,
an SEC
purple
guy.
Nikes is like owning purple Nikes is a win in my book.
I agree, but not when Washington's playing. Represent that Washington purple.
Like it's so funny. I thought that he was like so on Alabama beating Michigan because he was an SEC guy. Turns out he just didn't think Michigan had it in him.
I
Clearly,
think we
he
all
was
knew
right.
Michigan's offensive line had it in them, and that turned out to be the difference in both games.
It really did. They ran so consistently, and then for 2 quarters, they decided to try to throw it.
I know. What were they doing? I was sitting there with my father-in-law watching the game. I was like, why do they keep throwing? Do they know that they ran for 200 yards in the first quarter?
It didn't make any sense, Dan. It was like a fucking puzzle. I was like, what are they trying to set up here? Are they trying
Every
to set
time
up
they
more
handed it off,
runs?
it was 9 yards.
They had 3 40-plus yard runs in the first quarter. I'm like, you should do that play again. Clearly, like 1 40-plus yard run, that happens. 2, okay. 3 shows a trend. There's a problem, and it was the Washington defensive line.
I mean, unless J.J. McCarthy must have had something in his NIL contract that said, I get X number of attempts if we make it to a national championship game, because otherwise they would have just handed it off the entire game.
I agree. Michael Penix, I think he kind of looked like shit, and I hated saying that because
dude, he looked so good the week before against Texas. So like, it's hard to say it looked like shit. I mean, he didn't play great, but Michigan's defensive line was like ripping him the whole game. They did the same thing to Alabama. What's his face? Help me, Jalen something.
Milrow.
Jalen Milrow. They did the same thing to him. The defensive line just like wrecked the quarterback. And honestly, Penix is best when he's back there with time, and they have a good offensive line. It just wasn't good enough to block Michigan's defensive line. And when he gets rattled, he's kind of like Tua in that way, where like if he has all kinds of time, he can make every single throw right perfectly. but if once he gets rattled, he's not as good.
Scared dog doesn't bite, I guess, is a little bit of what you're saying. Like, he missed Roma Dunza for like 3 touchdowns, and it's almost impossible to miss that guy if he's wide open. That guy has 14-foot arms. He's 11 foot tall. He runs a 3.6 40. He's like the stuff of blood. How often do you guys think about Rome? I think about Roma Dunza all the time because he hunts. Dude.
That's a
He's
good
terrifying.
meme.
He's
That's
terrible.
a good meme. There was the one that it might have been the first one that he missed him. It just like kind of was just barely over his head. He was so mad. Roma Dunza was so mad. He like hit the ground. I thought he hurt his hand hitting the ground that hard.
He was pissed. But I'm happy for Michael Penix. I'm happy for Washington. I'm happy for Kalen DeBoer. They did everything. They did more than I expected this year in a good ass Pac-12.
Penix
I was
the national championship, but the 2 games before that definitely played him his way. I think into a first-round pick.
I think he did too. He's got plenty of arm. He has plenty of arm. It's just he got a little shook.
I was really impressed with the running back Johnson, Dylan Johnson.
Heck of a performance.
I mean, like the guy rolled his ankle. He had one of those like when they replayed it. Like we were like, oh,
it looked like he was playing softball in a rundown.
Danny knows how athletes hurt their ankles, and it takes you out.
Oh boy!
I mean, my ankle's broken right now. I can't even. I'm in a boot.
He's not going to be running. You're not playing running back this week. You're scratched.
Yeah,
He's not as tough as Dylan Johnson.
In my defense, I wasn't going to play running back either way.
I know, but I'm just saying you're not a healthy scratch.
No, I'm just a scratch.
So let's play a game, right? We have 4 teams that made the playoffs. How many of those coaches return to their jobs next year? Same job. And I'll get to, so you have Washington at Kalen DeBoer, Texas, Steve Sarkisian, Michigan with Harbaugh, or Alabama with Nick Saban.
I'm going 3 out of 4.
You think 2 out of 4?
2 out of 4. Okay, so
I think Harbaugh stays. I think Harbaugh does the same dance all the time where he pretends like he's going to the NFL and then he doesn't. And I think the Washington coach,
Kalen
DeBoer had too much success. I think he's going to stay there. I think even if he got offered a better job, I think he's happy in the Pacific Northwest. And I think that plays a lot into how people make decisions now. And what's the Texas guy?
Steve Sarkisian.
Yeah, Sarkisian. Sarkisian's staying in Texas, man. Nobody can pay more than that. Nobody in the NFL is paying more than that.
Sarkisian is staying in Texas. DeBoer is staying in Washington. Harbaugh's going to go to the NFL.
I mean, we're all kind of know already that Saban is retired. That's why we're
going to get to that in 1 second. That's a very important talking point. I'm going to say 0. 0 remain there.
That is a hot take.
Yeah. What are the betting odds on that in Vegas?
Saban is retired.
Yeah.
Harbaugh goes to the NFL. Sarkisian goes to Alabama, and DeBoer goes to Texas.
No way Sarkisian goes to Alabama.
Yeah, but Alabama can recruit NFL coaches who are paying is too much to like get him to leave LSU. Like he didn't want to leave the college, so.
I'm just saying. So let's talk Nick Saban here. And look, that's just a hotter take. I do think DeBoer will probably go. Sarkisian would be a stretch. It would have to be like a miracle job. But Nick Saban has officially retired from college football. I'm going to drink a beer to the GOAT really quick. The greatest of all time to do it. I know Miami fans have a negative persona to him.
I'm not going to be the Alabama coach.
He made the right damn decision. So to Nick Saban, hell of a career. Get the fuck out of here. Leave. Go retire.
Honestly, it's way easier to appreciate his decision now that we have a really great coach in Miami.
Yeah. You gotta like.
Let me tell you why I think Sarkisian stays in Texas, right? He was at USC. He fucked up big. He was kind of like blackballed from coaching.
Drinking problems. Well known, like
too much chuggy bets.
Serious.
Yeah. I mean, what he had what?
He was drunk in public too often. There's
okay.
Drinking's not a problem if you're good at it. And I think he was really good at it.
Yeah, he's probably really good at it. So I think that, Saban took a chance bringing Sarkisian into Alabama. Didn't he go to the NFL for a moment too?
I'll look up Steve Sarkisian's.
Yeah, like he went into the NFL. There was a team that he was making some calls for.
Seems
Is it
like
a
a Dolphins
Falcons?
thing.
Is it a Falcons thing? Am I missing the joke here?
It could be.
He
And then he went to
was-
Alabama.
Oh yeah, he was the Atlanta Falcons offensive coordinator. Well, shit, I did not remember that at all. Holy crap!
Did he replace what's his face? The Louisville guy?
Yeah.
Oh,
But no. You're talking about Petrino?
Yeah.
But-
Was he there right after Petrino? He came in.
No.
With the next head coach?
He was just there right before he went to Alabama.
Oh, okay.
what is Bobby Petrino doing?
Oh, he's got a head coaching job at
Alabama?
Texas A&M.
No, I
Should
don't
be
know.
Alabama.
I know he was at Texas A&M, but he got when Jimbo got fired.
I thought he
He's
got the
the
head
offensive
coach.
coordinator in Arkansas. He's back.
Oh
in
no,
Arkansas.
did they hire Duke's coach?
Yes, they hired Mike Elko.
Yeah.
Oh shit, he's back in Arkansas.
Yeah, he's
Where
back.
he got in all of his trouble.
Yeah, 2 years from now, he'll be the head coach for the Falcons. I'm so excited.
Nah, if Louisville ever has a downturn, that's where he's gonna end up.
Oh, touche. He's got to do Arkansas. He's got to do Atlanta, and then go to Louisville. He just does the tour of the South, the Bible Belt tour.
I don't see Louisville having
Actually,
a
yeah,
downturn
it's a
until
hell
that
of-
coach
it's a
takes
hell
a
of a
bigger
tour.
job, though.
Say that again,
I
Dana?
said I don't think Louisville has a downturn until that coach takes a bigger job. He's too good at recruiting right now.
Mark my words. Alabama should get Jeff Brom because that's the only chance you're getting rid of Jeff Brom from Louisville. That
Yeah,
dude
so
dies.
Jeff Brom is the Louisville coach. Brian Brom's the one I'm always thinking of, who
Yeah.
was the Louisville quarterback like 30 years after Jeff Brom was the Louisville quarterback.
Yeah,
They're brothers, but like their parents just don't know how to use condoms or something.
that or like the vasectomy didn't work, kind of like.
Or they're Catholic. It could be that.
It's true. It's true. So let's talk Nick Saban for a second. Danny, any thoughts on Nick Saban's totality? I don't know how to like sum it up any better or like give more. He changed the game.
Nick Saban had massive success at 3 college programs and turned a Dolphins team that was pure trash into a playoff team. So I'd say he's in the top echelon of coaches of all time. Like 2 to 5. Like if there's a 1 through 5 of all time coaches, it's like everybody's got to say Bear Bryant.
Bear Bryant can't even step to Nick Saban.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but if you're doing the top 5, he's probably in it.
No,
Just for
fuck
like
that guy.
reputation. I mean, Belichick's got to be there, and yeah, Nick Saban. He's one of the best coaches of all time.
I
Don Shula.
Telling on Danny about Nick Saban is not only has he coached fantastic talented players, he's also coached lesser known players. He's done all sorts of great things for these players, but he has also had a line of coaches under him that have gone on to be successful, that have won national championships, so much so that there was a stat of who has beaten Nick Saban, and it just so happens that Jimbo Fisher was the first, but the numbers, Jimbo and Kirby, I don't think there's any other coach.
I think those are the only two.
Sarkisian this year.
Oh, Sarkisian did do it this year. You're right.
Alabama was like pure trash. Everybody had forgot about them as an SEC team when he got there.
Who?
They were Alabama. They were a roll tide. They were a 500 team perennially before he got there, and he took 1 year to turn it around. He had like a regular old 8-win year, and then after that it was 10 or more every single season.
In that regular old year, he lost to Florida State.
I was there. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was good. Let's talk about the SEC in general, right? SEC is a powerhouse now, and it's like respected as what college football should be. Is it fair to say that the SEC is only as powerful as it is and respect is because of Nick Saban?
I want to absolutely say yes.
I think a lot of it has to do with them planning on who's going to be the guy who does it outside of the top guy, right? I think the SEC does a really good job of rotating who's number 2 and 3.
Yeah, but the SEC is become so dominant and kind of like put other conferences in the dust. And I think it's because of the competition trying to get to Nick Saban, right? Even in conference, like Nick Saban set such a high bar that it's almost impossible to get to. And I don't think the SEC matters nearly as much. And they're not the money too. Everything has changed because Nick Saban has been so dominant, made Alabama so good.
To be fair, Alabama didn't beat a Power 5 team outside of the SEC this year.
Nah, hell no, they didn't. Soft.
I'm just saying the SEC does a really good job of scheduling to make sure their teams are at the top,
Yeah,
and then they do a good job of rotating the 2 or 3, like whether it's going to be LSU or Auburn or Florida or whatever.
You're right.
Who's going to be that second team?
They do a great job at managing and protecting their brand.
Yeah.
I will say that I really feel that ESPN was looking at the map of our country and was like, where are the most susceptible people that will, soak this up like a sponge and beat their chest about it? And they're like, oh, these Bible people do that shit. Yeah. Hey, right there, let's do that.
It could be, but I mean, Texas and Oklahoma, I think one of the reasons they're leaving the Big 12 is because not everybody would bow to their greatness, and they go to the SEC. They get to do that rotate in on one of the best 3 teams every year because that's what the SEC does. They just make sure the right teams win.
Well, yeah, but that's until the SEC became a joke, which I'm putting it out there. Total joke.
I don't think it's a joke. I just think that being an ACC team, everybody goes 500 in the ACC.
Well, as a Big Ten, as a newly Big Ten team,
hell yeah,
that's where the real competition.
Wait, you guys move?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's inevitable, right?
Yeah, we're going to be a Big Ten.
Where else are we going to go?
Can't wait till November games in Iowa. What Florida State means to the country.
Am I the only football fan who wants us to go down a conference? I want to go to the AAC or the Conference USA.
Sunbelt. That shit kicks ass.
Yeah, Sunbelt. Hell yeah. Can we just whoop up on these shit schools? That's what we used to do in the Big East. It was just a bunch of shit schools we would whip up on, and everybody thought it was a real conference. I loved that shit.
That shit is fun. I don't want to leave the ACC because I like the matchups. I
love the matchups. I love the parity that the ACC has as a college football conference. I just wish that we had enough money to compete with all the other schools right now.
Exactly. And Mario's an amazing recruiter, right? He's known to be a great recruiter. Imagine with $40 million more in his pocket. See what Mario does when somehow, I know you're not allowed to use that money per se.
No, you are.
Yeah, you can't pay the players with it, but you can wash it through collective.
Different states have different rules. Florida hasn't passed anything that says we can pay Florida players yet, but nobody's stopping anybody from paying Florida players right now.
I'm just saying, give Mario $40 million more. Just see what happens. Let's roll the dice. Let's play that game. See what happens because it'll be fun.
Yeah, he'll just be taking knees in the middle of the quarter instead of at the end of the game when he's winning.
But you're gonna win every January 20th. Oh, early signing day. Put up a national title.
We crushed it again.
You did. You guys beat us in signing day. I'm going to call an audible. This is just going to be a college football podcast. We're going to cover one more topic, and then we're going to go pay attention to the next episode in your feed because it's going to be NFL all bets, all that. You guys good with that?
I'll have all the picks. Yeah.
Let's keep it short. Let's talk about Nick Saban's replacement. So the fallout from Nick Saban is going to be bigger than Nick Saban's retirement somehow because this is the job. If you had to have the job, this is the job. My question for you before we go in the candidates, do you want to be the guy who follows Nick Saban?
If I'm Lane Kiffin, I do.
Okay. I think you have to have a certain personality type. I think Lane Kiffin is exactly the personality type of not giving a fuck.
Yeah, also, he'll take that money, right? He's been shown to be the guy who will take that money
in the
past. And B, his family seems to like living in the South since he's gotten divorced, right? His kids still stay near him, and his wife follows him to these jobs, or his ex-wife, to be near the kids. So I honestly think that they'd be cool leaving the muddy waters of Mississippi to go to the muddy waters of Alabama.
Just right down the road.
I mean,
Right.
clearly he misses the blue waters of South Florida when he was at FAU, but like they're not paying, and Miami didn't offer enough money. So
Joey Saltwater became Joey Freshwater.
yeah, that's so good.
Chris, any thoughts on? Would you want to be the guy who follows Nick Saban?
No, I don't want to be that guy. No, absolutely not. Like my ideal job, if I was being considered for like the Saban job, would be I would want to go coach the current best college team, Florida State.
So, Matt, speaking of being the guy who follows the guy, like, would you want to be the guy who follows Jimmy Johnson
In Dallas?
anywhere? Because both of the coaches that followed him got to win a national championship in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Erickson followed him and got 2, and then what's his face in Dallas? I can't remember his name. Followed him and got 1.
Well, no, I get it, right? If you have a certain personality type, yes, you can make it work. And yes, you can inherit great players, but college football is notoriously fickle. And with the NIL, you can't rely on the name value as much, especially if Nick Saban's gone, right? You've seen, I think there were 25 stars this year and they went to 17 different schools.
Don't discount how much money all of those Roll Tide people are given. It's not, I know we like to make the joke that it's all Alabama and
It means
Tuscaloosa
more.
is nothing but car dealerships there, but don't discount all like the amount of money when all of those people give their entire paychecks to every NIL deal.
No,
Danny,
I mean, it might only be $100 in their paycheck, but when that many people are giving $100, it adds up.
Danny, what else does Alabama have other than car dealerships? Sam,
Muddy
when was the
Lakes.
last time you were in Alabama and you went somewhere other than a car dealership?
I've literally never been in Alabama, but they have
I was
Biloxi,
gonna say.
which has casinos.
No, that's Mississippi, buddy.
Alabama and Mississippi are not the same place.
No, you're going from muddy water to muddy water. We just talked about that.
I thought the whole reason I said that he would go from Mississippi to Alabama is because it's the same place.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's the same place.
Hey, where was the very first Mardi Gras?
Biloxi, Mississippi.
New Orleans?
It could be Mobile, Alabama.
Is it?
I don't know. It's worth a Google, though, right?
All right, so let's talk.
All right. We did great with college football.
So there's a couple of Saban replacements. Dan Lanning is the odds-on favorite, the head coach at Oregon. Yeah. I thought it was really interesting that Dan Lanning was part of the College Game Day crew all day during the national championship and called the game, like sat at halftime with them.
Oregon coaches love leaving Oregon. It's literally their favorite thing.
I know. This will be the third straight. Willie Taggart went, Mario Cristobal left, and now Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning has something cooking there, and he has a $20 million buyout. So
I don't think Lanning's leaving, man. I think that Phil Knight finally found a guy he likes who's going to keep no matter what.
I agree. I think Dan Lanning has something working in Oregon where he could be dominant, but you could also go to Alabama and be dominant.
Phil Knight has a huge budget now that Taggart isn't on his payroll anymore.
Did that make anyone else sad? It made me sad.
Actually, have you watched the Tiger Woods TikToks for like the TaylorMades?
I know he hits a Bridgestone ball. I know Nike gave up their golf.
He uses TaylorMade clubs, Bridgestone balls, Callaway, something else. I think Callaway Woods. But yeah, so the TaylorMade TikToks of him like hanging out with the other like Tiger Woods is one of the boys, and he's always wanted to be one of the boys. And now that he's like bang on average as a pro golfer, like but was all the GOAT, they all just want his advice and stuff. It's so fun to watch. Like he did a long drive competition with just some dude from Barstool where the guy like did a Happy Gilmore swing and like striked it and hit it like 300 something yards, and then Tiger Woods got on his knees and beat him. He hit it from his knees to beat him. It was so funny.
He's the GOAT, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's not just the GOAT, and also his son. He's like raising his son to be a good golfer now. That dude seems to be living his best life after having like a really rough time, you know, with addiction and divorce and all that stuff that can go on. And it's nice. It's nice to see him as a happy guy in all of these videos now.
Yeah,
even if he's not winning.
I just the addiction thing. It's just like I too am a sex addict.
No, I mean, I don't want to get too into Tiger's history, but like, yeah, it was the pills and stuff. I think that I was saying addicted, not the. I wasn't making a sex joke. Although, yeah,
I
he
mean,
was
listen,
addicted to
listen.
Waffle House waitresses.
If I could pop Viagra to keep my sex addiction up, I would do that
Different
too.
kind of pills, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
The car
also,
accident wasn't caused by tiredness.
So there's a couple.
it was
other
caused by
candidates.
Viagra.
Yeah, his dick got in the way of the
His
steering
dick
wheel.
got in the way of the steering wheel. I mean, he's
Uh,
probably got a big one, right? Or at least half of it.
Couple other coaches we should talk about. Tonight at the Bear Bryant statue, there are a group of Tuscaloosa natives who are chanting "No to Dabo, no to Dabo." Dabo Sweeney is a really interesting candidate. He is a manager, much like Nick Saban is, and he hires expensive people to do the rest of the jobs.
I
Steve
hope
Sark-
they hire Dabo. I hope
Oh,
they
I'm
do it. And
rooting for that.
I hope they do it and he fails
I'm
so bad.
rooting. Yeah.
I'm rooting for that one. Steve Sarkisian is on this betting list as well. Texas coach. Doesn't seem like the juice is worth the squeeze there. Texas is one of those jobs like Alabama is. Lane Kiffin.
Texas is back and they have money. I wouldn't leave Texas if I was their coach and I just made it to the college football playoff.
Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss. We talked about it. That makes perfect sense. And the final one on this list, Mike Norvell at Florida State. Now,
that actually makes a lot of sense, and I'm sorry, guys.
It makes perfect sense. I don't think he is a savvy enough recruiter for Alabama. I think we learned this time after
he could delegate there, though.
But getting left out of the national championship options and the playoffs may leave him feeling slighted because he thought Florida State had the clout. Now, Florida State is doing all the right things at this current point to get out of the ACC, so this shit never happens again. But I would be remiss.
You could have won it if Jordan Travis did get hurt, though. You could have won it all if Jordan Travis did get hurt.
He has a $4 million buyout, much lower than all the other coaches on this list, and that matters. That's where he should have resigned earlier this year, and they should have stapled a $10 million number on there, and we could have been talking differently.
They could have put one of those Jimbo buyouts on him for like 200 million or something, whatever he's getting now.
Staple a big one on him, so he doesn't even have to try. And the biggest knock on Norvell is, we talked about this a few episodes ago, he is one of those guys who likes to draw plays in the sand. He is not a recruiter. He's like Lane Kiffin. He loves drawing up plays and playing in the backyard more than he likes delegating.
Lane Kiffin just recruits by personality, though, and I think Norvell has a little bit of that, where like people want to play for him because he's got a little McDaniel to him. Yeah. I think that like he's one of those coaches that meshes with younger players very well.
I think so.
I think that like one of the things that draws people a lot of times is like being historical, right? Like we're talking about Saban, greatest of all time, very well qualified, right? I'm just saying that I think that Norvell will stay with Florida State because this slight that just happened, it's historical. Like it's the first time it happened. There's still people out there saying that if we would have been in the Final Four, that we would have competed and done well.
I mean, if Georgia was in the Final Four, they would have won it all. So
yeah,
I agree. I agree with that.
But if you got to play Washington or Texas or what was the other one that was in it?
Michigan.
I'd have loved to play Alabama.
I think Florida State could have competed with any of those teams except Michigan.
I think that you married somebody from Michigan, so that's like I don't really trust what you say at all when it comes to that state.
I'm also a Harbaugh fucker. Like I love those guys. I drink milk every morning.
You eat cheeseburgers for breakfast.
I had a cheeseburger for breakfast today.
But I think that he'll stay there. So to wrap it up, Mardi Gras started in Mobile, Alabama.
Okay. So let's do a quick game of prediction. Who do you think is the next head coach at Alabama?
Lane Kiffin.
He could be right. I think it's I think it's Dabo Sweeney, and because Dabo went to Alabama, like everybody's been talking about Dabo ending up in Alabama for years, and I really want to get rid of Dabo. I mean, I think Kiffin likes being close to the water.
Yeah, I agree. And he's only a 2-hour drive from the Panhandle in Florida right now.
Yeah, I guess. But why would he go there when, like he's even closer to Gulf Shores? Or I don't know if Mississippi has any beach, but let's just imagine it does.
I'm sure it does. Biloxi probably has a beach.
Well, Biloxi is, like it's on the
Biloxi's
coast.
Oh, yeah, it's up the river a little bit. I'm going Dan
Has
Lanning.
casinos though.
Dan Lanning.
Dan Lanning.
I'm sure there's a Blue Martini in Biloxi.
Dan Lanning was in the SEC forever at Georgia as the defensive coordinator. Kirby left Alabama as defensive coordinator and is the head coach of Georgia.
Lanning's a good choice.
Lanning is defensive coordinator. Georgia went to Oregon. It would be apropos for the same system to recycle, and he would be the head coach of Alabama.
Also, coaches just love leaving Oregon.
And I think maybe Mike Norvell goes to Oregon. But
I know you. I feel like you said this in a dream I had last night.
I said it on a text line.
I don't think Norvell's actually leaving Florida State.
I think Norvell's there. Him and his dreads are there to stay.
I hope so, buddy. All right. For everyone else, Danny, Sunshine, and Matt, hey, make sure you like, subscribe, do all that stuff. We appreciate it.
Wait, I have a Chuggie to give out. I would like to give it to Chris.
All right.
I'm carrying mine over to the NFL podcast. That's more incentive. See what ridiculous thing I make as a Chuggie when you get to the NFL podcast. That'll happen right now. Cheers.
Welcome, buddy. Cheers.